And we are live. This is not a video I wanted to make, actually, to be truthful, but sometimes you're just forced into it. It's been a busy week in court for the embattled, convicted criminal CEO, former CEO of New TSR, bankrupt TSR. It's been an extremely busy week in court. So I believe I covered this, for Monday. The Justin, through his lawyer, admitted in the libel case in New York State that he was guilty as charged of being a convicted criminal. But they played games with that, as we will see, because there's now a new filing that came out today in the libel case. And that I want to review in more detail because that one's really interesting. But after this filing where they admitted, and hey, we can just go right ahead and do a little share screen. So they did this one, and then Eric's lawyers harassed the lawyer on it, that you didn't answer this question, you didn't answer this, you didn't answer this. So that forced a second clarification. And it boils down to that they finally have admitted, yes, he is indeed a convicted criminal. He has a criminal conviction because he was claiming repeatedly, signed no less than 4 times in documents to the court, no, I'm not a convicted criminal. So we covered that on Monday, but then this filing turned up. Let's get back to the top of it. What day was this? This was the 27th. This then turned up 3 filings. There were 3 documents in the Watsy case. And these are Justin giving an answer to the Watsy case. They're asking the judge to bring down some sanctions on him for violating the stay that ordered him him and his cronies and anyone he influences to be harassing the witnesses, the subpoenaed witnesses that Watsy had. Those subpoena witnesses were Michael Hovermail and Don Samore. So I looked at this and I kind of said, well, I just did a Justin video. I don't know if I want to do one right away, but I worked up a little bit of a script here. The top 10 ironies of this filing. What's so ironic about this filing? But I just wasn't hot to do it, and I did that that monster book, Teratogenicon review, and I just said, no, I need the palate cleanser. I need a break from Justin. So I kind of was letting these ironies of this particular filing just kind of lie fallow for a little bit. So I chew on it maybe, and because I had a feeling more was coming. And ding, 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 a bucket of chum was dumped in the Atlantic Ocean to attract the sharks. And that bucket of chum is this filing by Faber, Schneider, Ferrari, LLP. These are the lawyers for none other than Eric Tenkar, and the defendant in the libel case. And this really, wow. And I noticed something here. If I wanted to make an analogy concerning the lawyers in this case, I would say that like Eric is riding on a Ferrari. And isn't that interesting? Ferrari is one of the names in the firm. And Justin's lawyer is riding. Justin is riding. If we were to compare Justin's lawyer to a car, we would say that Justin is riding in a hoopty. If you know that term from the inner city. Basically, it was a car that you bought from your best friend's cousin's brother-in-law for $500. it kind of works, but it probably won't pass inspection. And the bumper's held up with duct tape, and it's a beater. It's a beater to beat all beaters, basically. It's a hoopty. Okay, and that's the car that Justin's riding in, whereas Eric's riding in a Ferrari. And if I was a better animator, I would do a video animation of Eric in his Ferrari and Justin in his hoopty. But I don't have the time for that, so we didn't do it. But this is the latest filing. But today's live stream is about talking about what's going on. Talking about poop, I see. Yeah. Yes, local 433 Gumby. We are talking about poop, and it's going to get even better. So just to keep pace, we will do some of this not 25, top 10 ironies of Justin's filing. So, in here, he complains about the relationship between Dawn and the Wizards of the Coast lawyer, that Dawn seems to be using Wizards of the Coast lawyer like his personal lawyer. Well, Dawn communicates with the Wizards of the Coast lawyer because he's subpoenaed by them, and they're actually handling the stay that got put in place on Justin, telling him not to harass or communicate with or unduly try to influence the witnesses, even though that continues to go on. So naturally, Dawn does communicate with the WotC lawyers. So that was just ironic. I mean, he has to, because somebody swore out a criminal complaint against, Justin swore out a criminal complaint against Dawn and had the sheriff sent to Dawn's house with a warrant to confiscate all the computers and, looking for the evidence of this alleged theft of, well, we don't know what the number is, because one time he alleges 26, another time 29, 30 something. I mean, that number goes up and down. So we don't know what that number is, but somewhere there's a number in Justin's head that he alleges Dawn has stolen from him. And, here's my thing. Somebody owes you money and they don't pay you. You don't keep doing whatever you're doing with them so that money can go up. It's like, you owe me $5,000 and you ain't paid me. We're not doing any more business till get my $5,000, but somehow that number kept going up and the number kept changing. And it was one of those things like, yeah, that's it. 27, 24. So that number's gone all over the place. And so, he sent cops to Dawn's door. Then then somebody named Justin Lanassa actually contacted the office in the state of Michigan that goes after stolen valor, that when you get a veteran license plate and you're not supposed to have a veteran license plate, this is the office that goes after you. And so Dawn was reported to that office for not being a veteran. But Dawn's got his DD-214. He's got a certificate of discharge, honorable discharge. He has his veteran's ID card. And this woman's calling him, and so she was like, well, I can't tell you who filed the complaint. Well, after they closed the case, then they got the information, and it was ding, 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 Justin Lanassa, who is ordered not to. So naturally, Dawn has to communicate with the WotC lawyers because they handle the stay. So you have, that was, I think that was my number 3. No, it's supposed to be doing this backwards, right? And go down to number 1. I'm going to get this badly out of order. The bank, he also in this thing, he basically states that it should be dismissed because what Watsy's doing is by doing this motion for sanctions on him, and it's costing him money to have to defend himself against this. Whoops. Yes, Snotty Professor. I don't know if there's any. Finally, we have the New Frontier Genesis Facebook group. Wondering if we can all expect subpoenas by Justin's lawyers. I kind of do want to talk about that right now on this point. Is that what he's alleging is that they're just they're doing this and they're bankrupting me. So you should dismiss this filing that where they have filed for sanctions on me. This should be dismissed because this is just trying to, increase the cost, and it's bankrupting me. And the irony there is that Justin has bragged. It's been reported to me. I am not a first person hearer of this. I am a second person in my investigation. But Justin has bragged that he would sue people just to shut them up. That because he's got money and he eats steak and he drives a tank and he's got all these businesses, he'd just sue people. And, that was his way of bullying them around, which I tend to believe that based off of all the times he has threatened to sue people besides. And I wore, just for this, my new TSR Sued Dude alumni t-shirt. I thought that was appropriate. All the times I've been threatened with paper. Papers are coming. You're going to get sued. You're being sued. Papers are on the way. If I had $1 for every time, I would take Tammy out to a nice steak dinner or a nice sushi dinner over at C40 in Lewiston. Absolutely. And all I would need is $1 for every time I was told, you're going to get sued. And of course, that was sued spelled S-U-D-E, which we don't really know what that means because it's not an English word. But anyhow, apparently I am going to get sued. I don't know. Maybe it's like getting a wart on your foot or something. I have no idea. So the irony here is that he is accusing Watsy of using the same tactics he's used about other people, that throwing the money around because they can't afford to defend themselves. So they're bullying me. It's exactly what he has alleged that he has done to other people. He bragged that he had done this in the past. And so he's, they're bankrupting me. It's not fair. You have to dismiss this. So that was ironic. That's in this file. Then he basically said, well, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. That's not mine. He claims it wasn't me, which is funny because there are some receipts that I know about that kind of prove it was him doing some of those things. But he then says that Don Samora has been mean to me, so therefore I was justified. First he says it wasn't me, but I was justified because Don Samora was mean to me, which makes no sense. Okay, so, but we'll get into that a little bit more. Number 4, another irony here is that he's honest, it wasn't me, but he's admitted in another federal court to lying to the federal court. So there's no reason to give any credibility to anything he says in this filing, because he's already admitted to repeatedly, multiple times, signing to deceive and to lie to the federal court to impede the apprehension of truth in that court case. He has endeavored to lie and been caught. And now he's been forced to admit to it in the most recent filing this past Sunday. So when you say, no, honest, believe me, it wasn't me. There's no reason to believe you when it comes down to one person said one thing and the other person said one thing, but we know that person is is an admitted liar, has admitted in federal court he's a liar, you don't have to believe them. You just discount what they say. You get away with doing that very easily in court. So it's ironic that he goes, honest, it wasn't me. So number 5, makes proof he lied, evidence of Don being mean to me. Oh yeah, we'll look at that. We'll get to that. Yeah, Don presented proof on Facebook of Justin lying in the WotC case, and so then Justin took a screenshot of that and said, "Here's proof of Don being mean to me. He was harassing me." That's hysterical. Great. Thank you, Justin, for bringing that to the judge's attention. The evidence that you lied in court. So it's number 7. Big irony here. He started all this. It was Justin that started all of this. It was Justin that sued WotC. Oh, they're bankrupting me. You should have sued them. Multi-billion-dollar company, multi-million-dollar company. They don't get clown shoe lawyers driving a hoopty to defend them. They get in fact, their firm, I think, was involved in the Exxon Valdez case. Remember Exxon Valdez, anybody? This firm working for WotC was involved in that. These are not small potatoes. These are the great big honking potatoes type of lawyers. These are not, I mean, these are beyond the Ferrari that Eric's riding in over there in the New York State case. These are, what's beyond a Ferrari, Lamborghini, whatever is beyond a Ferrari, that's what these lawyers are. They're not small potatoes. So that's another irony, that he started all of this. And now he's it's bankrupting me. Then you shouldn't have started it, dumb person. He actually in this argues the preponderance of the evidence. They talk about, and it's the preponderance of the evidence. Well, the preponderance of the evidence makes it more likely than not that you are the person behind this harassing. So local Gumby, I hope I get a notice to appear for being part of the Facebook group. Hello, Melissa Wickersham. These are the 2 limo lawyers. Yeah. And Cal Valoni. Hello. Yeah. Great word. Very, very good word. Very good word. He's the one who started all of this. And just it's gone badly for him, and now he's whining that it's bankrupting me. I'm losing all my money. That's just so ironic. And the preponderance of the evidence, that was ironic to me. That because the preponderance of the evidence means it's not beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's the lesser standard of preponderance. It's more likely than not it's Justin. And so now I've seen what I believe to be evidence of him lying in 3 courts, 3 federal courts. WotC court, I've seen evidence where I'm like, dude lied here. Okay. And he's now admitted to lying in the New York libel case. And it's very clear to me that he has lied in the bankruptcy case. So, I mean, it's like, this is like he's a Triple Crown winner for lying in federal court. Kind of ironic. So yeah, these are red carpet limousine lawyers. Yeah. It never stops being funny to me that he took it from the trademark office to federal court. Yeah. I don't know what he was thinking. Yeah. Let's just up this. Let's just, I mean, you go up and you smack a bear with a 2x4 and the bear turns around and starts to maul you. Whose fault is that? Really? Seriously, whose fault is that? And the 10th irony is that it was a get-rich-quick scheme, which is working out to be, in his own words, bankrupting him, a get-rich-poor scheme. One of the fastest get-poor schemes in history, I think, where he has, in the space of 2 years, just totally screwed his own pooch. His asset shrinkage, too bad. I'm sure there's a joke there bringing up George Costanza and shrinkage. So I'm sure there must be a joke there. All right. So that was I was working on a top 10 list. Now, what's really funny to me is he makes a big deal about Don was mean to me. I was justified because Don was mean to me. So let's go to document 2 in this filing here. So in here, I don't know if you can read that on the screen. Yeah, but it says the above examples collected by me are just a few of the nearly constant taunts, harassing comments, threats, provocative content posted by Mr. Samora against me, the museum, and TSR. In addition, Mr. Samora's direct posts, he has regularly commented on public posts and videos posted by others to further taunt, harass, threaten me and my companies. If requested by the court, I will testify or provide proof of his additional this additional content. Now, what's funny here, when I read this additional content, that reminded me of the New York libel case where they sent a whole list of 20 of Eric's videos to the judge and basically said, just watch these and you find the libel. And the judge said, no, 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 no. That's not how this works. You show me the libel. And they couldn't. It's just, oh, here's 20 videos. There must be a libel in there. You find it, judge. We're too lazy to do that. So this is what I'm like, yeah, sure. He'll find 20 videos and yeah, here's 20 videos. You just watch these, which would be fine because I'll get more views. So I'll get some more views out of that. Fine if the judge watches them. But the judge ain't going to watch them. They're not going to watch 20 videos looking for Don being mean to him. But let's go ahead and look at some of the evidence in here of Don being mean to him. Where's my pad of paper? We want to go to page 7. So here is an example of Don harassing, taunting. So I did a post about the bankruptcy, and Don said he is and you have to ask yourself, why is Don saying this? Because Don says something harsh here. And Don's saying this because Justin it's been an unending campaign of anonymous emails, somebody sending autopsy photos to Don with a note saying, this is your kid. Well, Don's kid who died did not have an autopsy. She died in a hospital. She did not have an autopsy. Those photos do not exist, but that's just somebody being mean, somebody being vicious. And sorry, guys, little itch in the throat. Unending campaign of this stuff. So Don kind of gets a little exasperated. And here he says, he is a two-legged, lying, crawling piece of shit. I cannot wait for my day in court against him. Well, in the libel case, they tried to allege libel against Eric Tenkar because Eric Tenkar called him a jackass in a video. And the judge said, I'm sorry, but calling somebody a jackass does not rise to the level of libel. You're free to call somebody a jackass. That is your opinion of that person. It's a true opinion. You think they're a jackass. You called them a jackass. Here, Don has a definite opinion about Lanassa, that Lanassa is a crawling piece of shit. That's his true opinion that he holds, and I'm sure he holds it sincerely. So, but this is Don harassing Justin, which justified Justin, even though he didn't do it, but it justified Justin in doing it. to harass. So next page, where's my sheet of paper here? Let's go to number 12, page 12. So this is David Floor did a posting, because David Floor is really good for that. We love you, David, of stuff in the case from June 2023. So that would be the bankruptcy case. And Don Zamora, how dare he? You dirty bastard. I can't believe you did this. Don Zamora said, keep in mind what this stay does. It only puts the case on hold. It only stops those he has listed as creditors from trying to collect or harass him, etc. It does not prevent those he has not listed in collecting, nor does it cease the existing court orders of the courts, the existing orders of the courts. Oh my God. I mean, I've never seen such a worst case of harassment and being mean. Oh my God, Don, you should be ashamed of yourself. Just horrible, horrible. So TXG, we get back to some comments here. TXG, I'm curious, after all this is said and done, what Justin will try next. Probably pretend to be invalid, invalid, destitute to avoid accountability. Yeah, maybe. Calvoni, exactly. Don't blame the pots. This is another level, higher dope head. And LOL, total disrespect. And I love how he's offering to cooperate with the court like he has a choice. I love having Kim Winston around to comment on the legal aspects of things. It's great to have somebody who's studied the law. And then there's a factual statement. That must be about Eric's opinion is that he is a jackass. Factual, very factual. That is Eric's opinion. So here we had a great example of Don being a horrible meanie and it justifying Justin in this harassment that he was ordered not to do. So the next example, because these are just really great, and they're all supplied by Justin in his filing, is page 14. So let's go to page 14. My favorite, my absolute favorite. So Don Zamora says, so Justin files an affidavit in federal court saying he's never met me until October 2021. As with everything with that guy, it is simply lies. So here as well, proof he lied. The guy, along with his crony Dave, lied in federal court to a federal court judge in a sworn affidavit. Seems I met him earlier, a lot earlier. And he shows evidence of it. And so Lanassa has screenshotted this and submitted it to the judge. Here's proof. Don's been mean to me. He's been mean to me. Therefore, I was justified, even though I didn't do it. So I'm like, okay. Thanks, Justin, for bringing that to the attention of the judge. Good job. And the last one I want to look at, where was my paper? Oh, page 15. I think we can scroll. Page 15. Dawn, I can't believe you said this. Oh my God, how terrible, how mean, how harassing. He says, to clarify, as I am the target of Justin's BS, WotC has a court order barring Justin or his cronies from engaging in attacks against me and Hovermail. Lanassa and his cronies seem to think filing bankruptcy means he is free to do as he pleases. WotC disagrees and has done so with full receipts. It will be up to the judge, but I think Justin has miscalculated here. I am confident WotC will get this dealt with properly. I hope to see everyone Monday in court. It's a Zoom call. I think it is public. So this is just before the bankruptcy hearing. And so mean, Don, so vicious. How could you? It's a statement of fact. Now, what, excuse me, the biggest irony here is that Justin seems to think that the stay preventing communication or harassment or influencing applies to Don. It does not. If you read the statement from the stay from the federal judge, it only applies to Justin and his cronies. Okay, anyone involved with him. In fact, he was ordered to remove any other admin, moderator from social media, so that if social media outlets that's used by New TSR, Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum, so on and so forth, if any of these did post an attack on Don, it would be presumed that it was Justin. So that's why he was ordered to remove all of these people as moderator or or admin. He had to get rid of them at that time, and he had to run all his social media himself. So he is operating under this assumption that somehow, Don, how dare you say something about me? Don can say something about him because Don didn't sue him in court. Don is not a party to the lawsuit. Don is a subpoenaed witness. It's totally different. And so it is this idea that, well, I was justified because Don was mean to me. So what? So what? Don, and I showed you some examples of Don being mean. Oh my God, how terrible. How terrible, Don. You're a horrible human being. You're cracking me up. It just made this whole thing ludicrous. And so this is his filing and his defense on the stay. First, you totally have to dismiss it because it's bankrupting me and they're using my own tactics against me to run this out and to bully me and to force me into submission because they can outspend me. And that's what he has bragged about doing to others. I'll just sue them. And, and he's threatened me a gajillion times. And how many other people out there have been, threatened? You're going to get sued. I'm going to sue you. How dare you question me? You're going to get sued. Fragile ego. So Naughty Professor, oh my God, there is stupid. And there's Justin Lanassa, stupid. Let's provide the court with evidence that I lied on an affidavit to show how someone is harassing me. And honestly, Don is completely within his rights to say what he said about Justin Lanassa, to call him a piece of shit. You can call me a piece of shit. You could call me a jackass. You could. But Justin is got to stay, barring him from harassing the witnesses because they were being harassed. And what's even funnier, sorry, I'm going to have to pop a cough drop. What's even funnier is that when they were in court in front of the judge and the judge was handing down the stay saying no more of this, Justin neglected to inform the court that he had taken out a criminal complaint against Don and that there was police. Well, actually it ended up being the sheriffs, the county sheriff, that would go to his house and try to search his house for this supposed evidence that Justin would claim, oh yeah, this guy stole from me. And so in the end, they looked over everything. Don said, "Come on in. By the way, there's a stay, and he's not supposed to be doing this. I'm under protection of a stay from federal court. Would you like to talk to the lawyer involved?" And he called the lawyer. And Justin has alleged that Don calling the WotC lawyers to inform the sheriff, excuse me, you're not supposed to be doing this. There is a stay protecting this witness. He's alleged that Don calling the lawyer was improper and demonstrates an improper relationship between Don and Miss Lauren Rainwater. And why wouldn't he call her? Why wouldn't he call her? And the fact that Justin failed to tell the court, this is just not going to look good when the judge finds, oh, yeah, oh, you did this. Now, WotC did not make a big issue about it at the time because it had the timestamp on the complaint was prior to the stay, but he should have owned up and said, hey, I did that. But he didn't. It's not going to look good with the judge. He's just shot himself in the foot with that move as well. It's Kim Winson. As someone on N World pointed out, Justin's asking the order apply to people who didn't agree to it, and that it not apply to him who did agree to it. I know. There's so much irony in this filing. It's crazy. Wow. Justin poked the bear too many times, and now he's getting mangled by the bear. Oh, you don't know the half of it. We have another document from Eric's case to get to here yet. It's very sad for folk like Justin. Justin exists in the RPG space. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. So when Kyle Brink said white men like him need to get out, I just picture Justin. He needs to get out. He needs to be gone. So local 433 Gumby. I wonder what the federal threshold is for harassing across state lines. Well, seeing as how that has been a screw around, I think we are going to find out. And I think developments will happen there as well. But I can't reveal what I know on that score. So let's get to the thing that triggered me going live today, which is Faber Schneider Ferrari LLP. I love that Ferrari is in this name because Eric is riding in a Ferrari and Justin's riding in a hoopty. So this is to Dear Judge Matsumoto. This office represents the defendants and writes in opposition to the plaintiff's November 26, 2023 letters submitted hours before the filing of a Rule 11 motion in an attempt to claw back 4 separate filings. So here's what they're pointing out to the judge. These buffoons waited till hours, just hours before the filing. So then Eric's lawyers sent them a letter, and then you got the next letter. So, this was the one hours. It was a Sunday filing, which totally shocked me. And then his other lawyers, I guess, said, excuse me, and so then he turned around and had to refile this one to clarify. And basically, they have now admitted he is a liar and a convicted criminal. So that's what they're referring to was this last minute filing. Just get it in there at the last minute. We'll drag this out. And so they're attempting to claw back 4 previous filings, and they're asking the court to be able to refile. And so his lawyers are hitting this hard. So to confirm the plaintiffs have been lying to your honor for every minute of this litigation. Both of the plaintiffs' November 26 letters also failed to set forth the basis for their opposed motion and proposed briefing schedule as required by your honor's individual practices. This has been a theme that this lawyer, Bernie, Better Call Bernie, he never follows the rules. This court, this judge these are the rules. You're going to send me a motion. I don't accept 11-page motions. 3 pages. That's it. You want to file a motion? 3 pages. I'm not reading 11 pages. 3 pages. This guy just does whatever, doesn't follow the rules, doesn't obey them, and just does whatever he wants. And so this has been a theme that he doesn't follow the rules. So your honor's individual practices, the basis for the plaintiff's motion understandably omitted from their letters, which is he was caught lying. So although the defendants will submit briefing if directed, we do not believe briefing is needed to deem the plaintiff's use of this court to harass a retired grandmother and pathologically lie to your honor about the material facts no less than 9 times on 4 separate signed filings is an inadequate basis for leave to amend. So they're asking for leave to amend their previous filings. They filed 4 times, and in those 4 times, they lied 9 times and then said, under pain of perjury, this is true. And his lawyers are hitting this hard. And the plaintiffs filed this frivolous action in 2022. Nearly immediately on November 21st, 2022, we informed opposing counsel that plaintiff Lanassa had been convicted of at least one crime. After receiving that notice, the plaintiff's counsel not only refiled the false allegation in their January 21, 2023 first amended complaint, but continued to add new objectively false and meritless claims, e.g. harassing a retired grandmother with zero connection to this action by naming her as a defendant. You picking on the retired grandmother. Bad optics, man. The cursory review of the transaction from January 6, 2023 conference further confirmed the plaintiff's request to amend the FAC would constitute the epitome of futility for several additional reasons. On January 6, the court gave plaintiffs the opportunity to file an amended complaint to address the myriad of deficiencies which the FAC completely failed to address. Although the number of court-identified deficiencies were ignored by the plaintiffs cannot be recited within the page limitations governing this opposition, such examples include. So they say, look, the number of deficiencies in that thing are so great, we would exceed the page limit for this filing. So they're just hammering it home. These guys don't even follow the rules. So you set rules, they refuse to even follow them. So they're hammering that home, and they're saying, we could not even list them all, but we'll list a few. So here's a few of the deficiencies. The court had an issue with them assigning to me links and asking me to watch those videos and decide whether or not they had defamatory material. Is not something the court should be requested to do. That was one deficiency. There are no real allegations showing how the other plaintiffs, TSR, LLC, Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum, LLC, have been harmed. They just added them to as plaintiffs. They've not been harmed. There's no harm done to TSR or Dungeon Hobby Shop, LLC. And then the court said to them, I don't believe that there are sufficient facts pled to establish actual malice on the part of the defendant, consistent with the amended anti-SLAPP law of New York. The plaintiff's vague and conclusory allegations do not state any jurisdictional amount of $75,000 or more. They just said, we're suing in federal court. To sue in federal court for libel, you have to show damages of $75,000. He just made up a number. Yeah, I want $1 million. After this, he just made up a number, said, I want $1 million. So the plaintiffs need to more specifically establish non-conclusory facts for the intentional infliction of emotional distress claim. They never rectified that. The judge said, look, you need to do this to be able to, and they never did. And then I don't think the January 8th and January 9th, 2022 statement are defamatory. You need to discern if your client is in fact a public figure. He said that to the lawyer. And then jackass doesn't really rise to defamatory statement, because they were like, oh, I've been defamed. He called me a jackass. So now the letter really gets good. He says, according to separate and apart from the fact that the perjury and fraud upon this court are clearly inadequate grounds for leave to amend 4 separate filings, such leave would also be improper because the FAC now comprises the type of stale claims the court averred the plaintiffs should not be able to replead. So the court said, you can't replead this. You didn't fix them the way I told you to fix them. You didn't show us the evidence. You can't replead them. Also informed the court of Mr. Lanassa's criminal record during the January 6th conference and indicated if we were forced to spend tens of thousands of dollars and several months to prove Mr. Lanassa criminal, we would respectfully request leave to move for costs and fees for all of that time and money spent. This is precisely what has transpired, since accordingly, we respectfully request leave to move for such costs and fees. Ooh. So all of the effort they put into certifying that he was a convicted criminal, they're saying, we at that time mentioned that, and so we are respectfully asking the court to allow us to move to get that. During November 2nd, 2023 conference on the defendant's October 20th, 2023 motion, the court again reminded the plaintiff's counsel that truth is an absolute defense, noting if Mr. Lanassa was indeed convicted of a crime, it would present the question of whether this case needs to be dismissed, concluding by reminding the plaintiff's counsel that sanctions would apply if they pursue that claim, despite being provided with evidence establishing Mr. Lanassa was convicted of a criminal offense. Evidence provided to the plaintiff in May, in response to plaintiff's counsel, informed Your Honor that he had shown these documents to his client and continued to inform the court that Mr. Lanassa's position is that Justin is not him. Oh, the criminal, that's not me. This gets better. So November 22nd, 2023 was the first time we learned of the remarkable new claim that the plaintiff and the convicted criminal Lanassa are completely different people, despite sharing the same first name, middle name, last name, date of birth, race, sex, and city of residence. That required substantial and further investigation to obtain a certified North Carolina Department of Motor Vehicle report confirming plaintiff and convicted Lanassa also share the same North Carolina driver's license number and the same home address. So, I mean, the Ferrari lawyers, but really, plaintiff Lanassa and criminal Lanassa are not the same Lanassa. Okay, hold my beer. And now they want to get paid for having to do that. And so they're asking the court for that. The court has inherent power to do whatever is reasonably necessary to deter abuse of the judicial process and assure a level playing field for all litigants. In the case of a fraud on the court, the power includes powerful sanctions of dismissal with prejudice without reaching the merits. Without even looking at the merits, you committed fraud, dismissed with prejudice. You can't even rebring it. They begin citing all these court cases. And, you know, in this court case here, case was dismissed with prejudice and attorney fees because the plaintiffs misrepresenting the timing of crucial communications. And another one, the filing complaint based on bogus agreement constituted fraud on the court warranting dismissal. In another one, they cite employment discrimination claim dismissed with prejudice, cost fees, and $20,000 fine to sanction the plaintiff who committed fraud on the court by suppressing credit card records that were inconsistent with her claims. Another one, so they cite all of these, and it's just so the courts in this district typically weigh 5 factors in determining the appropriate sanctions for fraud on the court. Number one, so these are the 5 standards by which they're going to judge the fraud. Whether the misconduct was the product of intentional or bad faith, and they put in there clearly it was bad faith. Whether to what extent the misconduct prejudiced other parties, and they put in there in brackets extensively. Whether there is a pattern of misbehavior rather than an isolated incident. 4 signed filings. Whether and when the misconduct was corrected. And they specify 429 days later and hours before a Rule 11 motion. And then 5, whether further conduct is likely to continue. And they address that here. The 5th McCune factor is commonly established, blah, 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 opposition, which intentionally misled the court by directing it to so they bring they bring up, will he likely continue to do this? And they bring up the fact that he used the FBI report on him. See, the FBI says I'm not a criminal. And he knew that that was misleading the court. And they used that, the FBI fingerprint report, falsely telling the court that the FBI confirmed Mr. Lanassa was not a criminal record. Accordingly, plaintiffs repeated certifications of these lies for over 1 year with specific knowledge of their falsity confirms this misconduct is likely to continue. Here's where it gets good. Mr. Lanassa and his counsel's fraud. They're stating, this is Eric's lawyers, they're stating Mr. Lanassa and his counsel's fraud. And his counsel committed fraud. That's how that's constructed. Mr. Lanassa and his counsel have committed fraud. That's how this sentence is structured. Upon the court, has been willful, material to the plaintiff's claims, and sufficiently egregious to warrant denial of any requested leave to amend, as well as dismissal with prejudice, costs, fees, and sanctions, and any criminal referrals that the court deems appropriate. In this case, in the event this case is permitted to continue any further, we respectfully submit Mr. Lanassa should be compelled to appear in person to explain the circus that he has been conducting in this court. And then it's signed by Eric's lawyers. So if I'm reading this right, and Kim Winston, if you're out there, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like they are asking for sanctions, not just against Mr. Lanassa, they're asking for sanctions against his lawyer, and even possibly criminal. I don't know who the criminal referrals will, and any criminal referrals the court deems appropriate. It does certainly seem like, at the very least, I would imagine the judge is going to refer Better Call Bernie to be examined by the Bar Association, I would think, right? I don't know. So let me just catch up on some comments here. Let me see. I wonder if the federal threshold. Okay, we covered that one. Probably old news, but how is Gygak's eldest son, Ernie, connected to Justin Lanassa? It's a good question. Ernie has, though it's denied, Justin denies it, but Justin admitted it in the text dump that Hovermail did in bankruptcy court. Invested money into this whole thing, but he didn't get it in writing. Him and Duck apparently invested money, and Justin bragged that they didn't have it in writing, so all mine, all mine. He bragged. It's just nasty. In light of the fact that Ernie is suffering so much health-wise, he really could use his money back. Duck's being screwed over. So Justin Lanassa. So that's the connection. I think Ernie was manipulated and sold a bill of goods, and Ernie just wanted to be able to hold court and run games. I don't think he wants to publish anything. I don't think he wants, Justin's a master manipulator, and I think he saw Ernie coming from a mile away. And so Ernie got in a little too deep, couldn't get his money out by bailing on Justin. If he bailed on Justin, he loses everything. It's part of the hook Justin had on him. And that's probably why he got that Ernie Gygax approves seal and used Ernie's likeness to suggest he had the seal of approval of Ernie Gygax. So that's the connection. I think Ernie was misguided. And, I know some people are like, screw him. I'm like, this guy got manipulated. This guy got used and abused. And has he done missteps? Has he done wrong? Yeah, he has. And at this point, like today, Henry Kissinger died yesterday. I'm listening to people trying to take a big steaming dump on his grave. Oh, Vietnam. And I'm like, you know what? just say something nice. Don't speak ill of the dead, you know. And when it comes to Ernie, I'm kind of like, you know what, I don't have the heart to jump on him. The guy's got enough going on. I hope he gets better. So that's the connection, as I understand it. Justin Lanassa equals worm tongue. Yeah. Gotcha. And Jason Elliott. It's official then. His new name is Jackass. Well, apparently you can call him a jackass and it's not libelous. Christopher LaRosa, JL equals JJ, now LO. Yo, Dano, I cannot thank you enough for staying on top of this for us. Well, you know what, Yo, Dano, when he trolled him and his cronies, Yak included, trolled my special needs daughter and myself on a Thanksgiving post and just launched this attack. I was like, what the hell? I mean, that was guaranteed to do nothing but you just poked Papa Bear, and Papa Bear's a grizzly, and you screw with that FAFO, screw around and find out. Screw around with Papa Bear's cubs and find out. Come after my daughter like that. I mean, pissed me off and lit a fire in me. And so I wasn't certain I wanted to do this vlogging thing. I really wasn't certain. And I got into it for a little bit and I was like, man, YouTube stacks the game against you. It's rigged to screw over the small guy. YouTube is terrible. I'm not sure if I want to do this vlogging thing. And I was kind of having a little bit of a crisis of faith. Like, this is more effort that I really want to be involved in. And, at that time when I was having that, I'm not sure if I want to do this. And I was questioning it. He poked the bear again, attacked my daughter again. And then he sued Eric. So Eric's hands were tied. He could no longer comment on Justin. And I was like, that's it. I'm in this for the ride. I'm going to stick to this as much as I hate it. I am going to stick to this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be the man to stand in the breach and make up the gap, as the old Bible verse says. I will stand in the gap. Behold, I sought for a man to stand in the gap, and there was none. Here am I, send me, Lord. I'll stand in the gap. If Eric's hands are tied and he can't report, because he was doing great justice by the community, doing a great service for the community, I was like, that's it. And so Justin made me the vlogger I am today. is another great irony, by just, attacking my daughter with special needs yet again. I mean, at one time he even called my wife a skank, which is actually ironic because she went to Skank High School. Here in Maine, we have a benefactor who built libraries and hospitals and all sorts of things. And they named a school after him, and his name is SCHENK, and it's pronounced Skank. And Tammy went to Skank High School. and funny story, she led her basketball team to state, very athletic. And so she was very proud of her letter jacket. And when she went to college in Hawaii, she'd go down to the basketball courts and play basketball with the boys and, throw elbows and, up against big Samoan boys. And so she wore her Letterman jacket one time, and they're trying to read the name. How do you pronounce that? She went, Skank. I went to Skank High School. And of course they knew the other connotation for skank. So they, you can imagine these big Samoan boys are rolling on the court laughing. And she's like, what? Because she didn't know. Because this is way up in the county. This is way up in northern Maine. And she just never heard such a crude word as SKANK. She just knew SCHENK, same pronunciation. So another irony He attacked my wife, and I made a joke of it and just went after him some more. Winston, sounds like they want both Justin and Bernie to be liable for sanctions. Okay, so I was not reading that wrong. Because I asked one other person who has some interaction with the law, and they were like, I don't know. I hate to try to say. So thank you, Kim, for that, because that's how I read it. It does sound like they are going after him hard. So Jason Elliott, Lanessa really does want to be a mini Trump, even to the point of having lawyers that get indicted for conspiring in his fraud. That is interesting. Because I think, look, my opinion is nobody can do Trump but Trump. Justin Lanessa very clearly, early on in this, I thought he is trying to play Trump, just antagonize people, make it all about me, and it was not working for him. The only person who can play Trump is Trump, honestly. When he was running for president, and you had like 17 other Republicans running, and Trump would just go out and he would just say things, and people would lose their nut, and nobody was being talked about. All these other great candidates, nobody was being talked about. The only airtime anybody got was Trump. And I'm watching him do this, and I'm thinking, this guy must be friggin' brilliant or something, or pathological, because he totally manipulated that. And in the end, he was the candidate. And you had a lot of other great, brain surgeons, and you had a lot of other great candidates. And I just was like, I want to hear more from these people. I want to know what these people think more. And all the media could talk about Trump. And I was like, well, you guys just get over it. He's just baiting you, and it's what he does. So, nobody can do Trump but Trump. And sadly, Justin Lanessa has tried. Very sad. So it's chickens coming home to roost. In fact, I had delayed doing a video because I had done the one Sunday night that I released on Monday. And then, of course, this WotC filing came up, and I thought, I'm tired. I want to do gaming content. And so I did gaming content for Wednesday. I was like, I can't do it. And I thought, you know what? Just let it go. Another filing will happen this week, and then you can do a video. And what I didn't realize that I'd lost track of is that tomorrow is a hearing in the WotC case. And if I had known that, I might have been tempted to just wait till the weekend or, next Monday. I would have just tried to wrap all this up into one thing, but I got so excited when I read this letter from Eric's lawyers. And I mean, their motion to dismiss with prejudice, sanctions, fees, fines, and criminal charges is what they're asking. And, you ask for everything, and you're happy when you get like three things. So if they get motion to dismiss and their fees and some fines, they're going to call it a win and walk away. But they've asked for everything. And who knows? Is the judge irritated? An irritated judge kind of throws stuff at you, like the book. And in this case, I think Justin's facing, if it's not the phone book, it's at least, if it's not the full thick yellow pages, it's at least the white pages. So let's put it that way. So I think that's what he's facing in that case. And the other thing that I don't think he realized, hello, baby, the good wife's walking in the room. The other thing I don't think he's realized is that by admitting in federal court that he has lied, it impacts every other case. It's a domino effect. Setting aside the clear evidence that I think I've seen that he has lied in the WotC case, and then the other evidence that I can look at and go, he's lying here. I think he's lying here in the bankruptcy case. And the fact that the bankruptcy trustee has gotten the court to a point lawyers to represent TSR, the estate, against any employee. Well, there was only one employee, Justin Lanassa, in case there was any fraud. So, yeah, it sounds to me like the bankruptcy trustee thinks he's been lied to. So, he's a Triple Crown winner, lying in 3 federal cases, as I see it. And it just snowballs because all the other cases then go, well, you can't, he's telling us this, but we can't believe that. He's an admitted liar. And that's how that goes. So I want to thank everybody for coming by. Dano, I appreciate you coming by, and thank you for the compliment. I definitely appreciate that. I do see you around Twitter time to time. Again, thanks to all of my subscribers, and thanks to all the encouragement. OGGM is giving me some great shout outs for staying on top of this. I appreciate it. I feel an obligation. I would love to never talk about Justin Lanassa again. Honestly, ask me. I mean, ask my wife.
Mm.
Yeah. My wife would love for me to never talk about Justin Lanassa again.
Amen.
So, can I get an amen?
Amen.
But I have felt an obligation when I watched what transpired with Eric being sued, and I just saw this bully. And he bullied and threatened, I'll sue you. Papers are coming. You're going to get sued. And he attacked my daughter, attacked my wife, sending autopsy photos to a grieving father who had to bury his daughter. These are your daughter's autopsy. Just despicable. And I was like, that's it. And here's the thing. Now that I've vlogged for so long, it actually comes as second nature. So I've gotten over that hump of, I don't know if I really want to do this. And now I'm kind of in it to win it, I guess. And I have Justin Lanassa to thank for that. So to Justin, thank you, buddy, for making me the vlogger I am today. I know I'm not a great one. I aspire to be a better one. So definitely, Justin, thank you so much, because I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be reporting on you without all of the poking the bear. Just so for future reference, if you don't want to wake up the grizzly bear, do not poke the cubs. Don't go at the cubs. Not a good idea, because it'll make me a campaigner. It's the kind of thing that, really, you went after my daughter? All right, game on. We will see where this goes. So this is Tom for Tabletop Tap Room. Again, thanks for coming by the video and watching. Appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. Happy to keep you informed. Happy to stay on top of Pacer and everything filed in court. And a shout out to David Floor and Kim Winson. They are a huge help for this. So everybody's like, oh yeah, Tom stays on top. Tom kind of relies on David Floor, Kim Winson sometimes. These guys are great, and they actually make me look good. So appreciate everyone behind the scenes who has sent me information, and suggested avenues of investigation. So signing out. Have a good night.